Hi everyone, I'm Eric.
And I'm Christopher.
And we're Grow For Me Gardening. Today, we're going to take you through our seed haul for 2024. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We are actually in our basement greenhouse, which we kind of showed you last time in our video and walked you through the various components that you would need to set up your own greenhouse in your basement. So if you did not see that video yet, feel free to check it out and kind of see how we set all of this up.
Yeah, and then today what we're going to do is go through our seed haul, the stuff that we had on hand, the stuff that we have ordered, some stuff isn't even here yet, and a little bit about why we're choosing what we're choosing, where we are thinking about planting it. Some things, of course, as gardeners, we just order it because it's beautiful and we figure it out later. I've been reined in a little bit this year. I have to admit, I've been pretty good.
A little bit. And, you know, we haven't decided on everything yet. So there's going to be some discussion between us about, you know, is that a good choice, a bad choice, or let's just see what happens. So,
yeah, so we've got the laptop up again, and we're just going to start with the flowers that we're going to order. Of course, we're starting with something that's technically an herb.
Yes. Well, some of them we are past ordering, some of them we have.
Right. This is something that is on the way. Eric just ordered this, and it's Angelica.
Angelica herb seed from Johnny's. And I first noticed this flower in an arrangement in a restaurant in, I want to say maybe it was the Prairie Whale.
Oh, right.
In the Berkshires.
In the Berkshires,
and
really
they had
great
this
restaurant.
Gorgeous arrangement. And I said, what is that flower you have in there? And they said, it's Angelica. And Angelica is something that I thought, you know what, it's huge. It gets enormous.
Up to 96 inches tall.
And it's super stunning. We certainly have the room for it at the back of one of our borders and maybe even on the berm, but it does not bloom its first year. So this is an investment in our time and energy with this one.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really fun. I like the fact that it's a super pollinator magnet too. So way up in the air, we'll hear all those little buzzes.
Yeah, and these seeds are cold stored, right? Johnny stores them cold.
I believe so.
To ensure their viability. So that's pretty cool.
Okay. Yep. And so that's another thing we'll be mentioning, of course, is where we get our seeds from. Johnny's Seeds, can't go wrong. They have a ton of great information on their website, ton of great information on the seed packet, and we've done pretty well with them so far. So the next flower is something else. Actually, the first couple are things that you just ordered.
I did. I just chose them while he was at work the other day, and I didn't have to work, so I was at home and made some orders. So the next one I chose was Tall Blue Planet Ageratum seeds from Johnny's. And this is kind of a funny story as well, because we grow Ageratum. We grow the annual Ageratum from Proven Winners. They are called Artist Blue Floss Flower. We love them. We use them all the time. We were down in Virginia in October, and I saw these flowers in a landscape, and I think it was the first time I ever saw traditional ageratums, and I was like, these are just as beautiful. So not only are we going to plant the new hybrid again in our garden that we enjoyed so much,
which stays much shorter.
Yes, these get much more of that airy, ethereal quality, which I particularly enjoy in the garden.
Yeah, and you know, of course, it's a blue flower, and that's something that Eric is going to love every time.
I know. I remember last year. We looked around at all the seedlings we'd grown, and I was like, wow, we picked a lot of blue.
Yeah.
And I was like, next year we're not going to pick blue, but then of course I just picked a lot of blue.
That's all right.
So, yeah.
Okay, the next thing Eric chose from Johnny's was Guardian Lavender Delphinium. Very tall, of course, you know, it's that 48-inch size. This is a perennial for us. It's perennial in zones 3 through 7. It is absolutely beautiful. The Guardian series, I'm just reading here, it's bred to perform well under short days for greenhouse production. So that's always good. It should give us some flowers.
And it's a new
quicker.
hybrid Delphinium. It has superior uniformity.
Yes, it's a
Freya
beautiful
is visiting
color.
us.
Freya is very talkative today.
She's feeling the call of the wild today. But I'm excited. We had a nice patch of Delphinium in our garden that since has become shaded as things get bigger. You know, we only started our garden in 2018, so we had a great sunny spot for the Delphinium, but it has since become more shaded, so the Delphinium is starting to dwindle out, and I love it. I want to see it more places in our garden. All right, so next on our list is a tender perennial. It is a Castor Bean. And these we saw when we pulled up to Gardener's Supply in Burlington, Vermont. And they were in their garden out front, and they were just stunning in the late summer landscape.
Yes, super, super dark leaves that were, I mean, they were at least 5 or 6 feet tall when we saw them. And we saw them kind of at the end of their bloom cycle. They almost look like a reddish, crimsony gomphrena, but really high up in the air on top of these dark leaves.
Yeah. Freya, we're going to have to edit you out. Actually, they were selling these seeds in Gardener Supply. These are Botanical Interest.
Yep, another great company. Love their seeds. They always have the really beautiful pictures on the front of them.
And they recommend to sow outside 1 to 2 weeks after your final frost or 6 to 8 weeks before your average last frost.
I'll be starting them inside.
All right, what's next?
So the next plant that Eric chose was the Tall Blue Boy Organic Centaurea, and this came from Johnny's as well. It's a cornflower.
It is. And I chose it, well, shockingly, because it's blue.
Correct.
And then I was watching another YouTuber, and I'm forgetting, it was a rose person, and they were talking about pairing perennials or annuals with your roses. And as you know, we usually pair catmint with ours because we love it. But they recommended a blue cornflower, and I thought,
I think that'll be really nice. And it can be used as a cut flower. And apparently this one also that you chose is edible. You can use it as a choice for brightening up a salad.
I love a brightened salad.
A bright salad for us. And maybe later in the vegetable section, we'll have something to make that salad with.
But it also follows up with flavor is bland.
It does say flavor is bland and mildly floral. Okay, so it brightens, but it doesn't taste.
Yes, visually brightens. So, yeah.
All right, Eric. So the next thing we have is a cypress vine.
Oh,
this is a really cool vine. It's got the not ferny.
Yes, the packaging is not exciting because we found it in a friend's garden.
Yes.
And we took their seeds.
We took the seeds. So whenever we borrow seeds or harvest some seeds elsewhere, we always call them heritage seeds.
Yes. And we have these neat little envelopes we had ordered to just kind of collect our own seeds.
Yeah. So
we can keep them in here.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that those were in the receipt from like a store or something, or like a grocery store receipt. And that's the only thing we had. So
This reminds me, I have beans from Cole's house in my trunk.
Oh, yeah.
For us to plant.
Okay, yeah, there are really weird long string beans in the trunk.
We should probably get them out of the trunk because they're floating around back there.
Anyway,
back to our...
so the cypress vine, that's really cool. So I would say everything so far that we've seen, we've got a bit of an idea. We know the castor bean, that of course is going in the back of a border. The delphiniums will go...
I think they're going to go where the champagne hollyhocks were this year.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Like sort of like where you put tall stuff. But the cypress vine, that I really want to put on one of our elevated bed arches as just a really cool soft texture. It doesn't flower heavily, and they're kind of reddish, which is not something that we commonly have in the garden.
Oh, yeah.
But from far away, let's call them scarlety. They're not
really?
as reddish. Or they're pinkish reddish.
All right,
I'll
have to Google an image. Will you share an image with everybody so they can see?
Yes, every single thing is going to have an image up. And so we also have hollyhocks. This is something that we already had on hand. In fact, I collected seeds from this to refill our stock. This is something is this our first one from Baker Creek?
It might be.
Yes. This is from Baker Creek Seeds, the hollyhock that's called Majorette Double Champagne.
Beautiful.
Yes, we had them in the garden last year. I shared some seeds actually with a few friends.
Oh yeah, we sent out.
This is a gorgeous, gorgeous plant. Hollyhocks can get crazy. They get so tall, they flop over. They're beautiful and they're worth it, but you have to do some work. These you don't have to do any work to.
No, I did have to work on them. Let's not lie.
Well,
I had to deadhead quite a bit.
Oh no, I'm talking about
off the
flopping.
faded. No, there was no flopping.
No, that's what I mean. When they get really tall, you have to stake them. These you really don't have to, and they're a great filler. The color is beautiful. I would say it's pale. It's not white. It's a creamy color.
Would you say it's champagne?
It's very champagne-y, but it's neutral enough to pair with almost anything. You could put it in a hot color garden, cool color garden, whatever you got to do. It's going to be absolutely beautiful.
That's a definite repeat. All right. So last year, you might remember that we grew beautiful bronze fennel for the beautiful foliage and the blooms, and it is covered with pollinators by the end of the season.
Really, really nice.
So we did harvest some of those seeds again And this could be our third year growing bronze fennel. But we might give it a break.
Might give it a break. Oh, remember,
I have a feeling we're gonna have some popping up anyway.
We are definitely gonna have some. There were a couple babies popping up.
Yeah, but I love bronze fennel. Such a great accent plant in the garden, and so good for the pollinators. So, highly recommend bronze fennel. And we might not.
We might not. I don't know.
Maybe on a smaller scale.
Yes, maybe a little group instead of a major drift. So our next item on the list is the purple hyacinth bean vine.
I love the purple hyacinth bean vine.
This is a really, really cool plant. I don't think it gets enough credit. Everybody should be growing it. But caveat, grow it if you have the room.
Yes, it gets humongous. The foliage is dark colored and humongous, almost like red bud leaves almost.
Yep.
So if you want that dark foliage color, and it's got big bright pink flowers that the hummingbirds love. And it does take off late in the season. So just like most vines, it doesn't come into its own until later in the season. But I highly recommend hyacinth bean vine. I think we need to find a spot for one this season.
I'm wondering where we're going to do it. The first time we did it, we actually grew it up our Gothic arch. And it was beautiful.
We probably have pictures.
Yeah, we definitely have pictures of that.
We'll share one of those.
I'm just not sure where it would go this year.
We'll find a spot.
We'll find a spot. Okay. All right, so the next thing on our list would be the seeds I collected from the lavender mist meadow rue, otherwise known as Thalictrum roche, because I can't pronounce that word. It is the very tall, beautiful Thalictrum that introduced us to the variety. We already have seedlings that are going to come back.
Yes, we got the original one from my mother.
Yes, which she got because it was a stowaway in a plant that she bought at a nursery. She didn't know what it was, so she put it in the ground. And then we collected it. We still have the one original plant, and I've since made quite a few more. And I have a little nursery of them.
Yeah, it gets very tall. I'm talking like 8 feet tall.
Gorgeous.
It's airy. The color is intense and beautiful. I have a great photo on Instagram that we can share right now with you. Yellow little stamens in the center. It's a beautiful, beautiful perennial for us.
So we won't need these seeds this year, but it's one that we highly suggest trying. Other thing, I found most success with Thalictrum in winter sowing. I think it really wants that cold period, so it's better to do it that way.
Yeah.
Now this is a cool one. This is coming to us from Eden Brothers, another great place to get seeds. Both Eric and I shared with each other African marigold seeds of different varieties. So we ended up on this one. It's called Moonlight.
Yeah, and the reason we chose marigold was our rabbits.
Yeah.
That come into the yard. And I've had so many people offer us suggestions and recommendations as to how to deter rabbits or make them not want to come in. I mean, catmint alone is supposed to deter rabbits, but we have so much catmint in our garden and it doesn't really deter them that maybe marigolds will.
Yeah. And this one, it's a very pale yellow and it only gets up to about 14 inches high. But I chose this because it didn't look like those traditional bedding marigolds. Those are not my favorite. So this one I thought would be fun to do really just a really long drift.
Yeah.
I thought that would be a nice
maybe one of the, we don't normally like dot things throughout the garden, but this might be one of the things we do that with.
Oh.
To deter
little clusters.
Critters. Yes.
There we
clusters, go. Little bouquets worth.
So the next thing that I actually, so these 3 in a row, the African Marigold, and then this is the New England Aster, and the next plant are all from Eden Brothers. So New England Aster.
Yeah, this I'm sure is blue, right?
Yes, it's actually, it's on the purple side of blue.
Oh, it says color is purple pink. Look at us branching out.
Oh, there we go. This one is, it's an herbaceous perennial. It's got the upright habit, the fuzzy stem. And it's gonna probably do quite well for us.
Did you see this?
It needs the cold
stratification. It requires
stratification.
cold stratification, so I think we should put this in the fridge.
That's a good idea. We'll make a pile.
Put it in your pocket.
Pocket. There we go. And then, so the next thing actually might also, because this
sure
is
does.
another native.
Wild Clomi.
Yep, Rocky Mountain bee plant.
Yep, also requires cold stratification.
Yep, and this is I
have no idea what this is.
It looks like a Clomi.
Oh,
it's really cool.
This, huh? You love a Clomi.
I love a Clomi. We had them a long time ago and didn't know exactly how to take care of them. But I love a wild Clomi. This thing looks cool. And see, they're looking at the picture right now, so they know how cool it is.
I don't have it.
He
I have
doesn't
no
know
idea
how
what it looks
cool
like.
it
I
is
haven't
just
seen
yet.
that.
So we'll tell him. Well,
Yeah.
you know, let's not tell him. So the next thing we had a couple varieties of sweet peas left over.
Oh yeah.
What did we decide on sweet peas?
Sweet peas. We had ordered these last year from Florette, and they are beautiful. And we grew them last year on our tomato trellises until it was warm enough to put in the tomatoes, and they looked really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But the timing didn't work out for us. We thought they would be like done by the time we moved the tomatoes in, but they weren't. They got a little crowded. Anytime we've grown sweet peas in the ground, they have gotten eaten.
Yeah, we haven't had the best luck with them. In the raised bed, they were beautiful.
So maybe in the elevated bed somewhere, but this variety is sweet pea, our Harry, and Valerie Herod. And I do love sweet peas. But we might skip them this year.
We might skip them this year.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right. And then we have 3 plants that are not here yet. I actually had just ordered these also from Baker Creek.
Because we always forget. Every year we forget to grow these.
We forget to grow these every year. And in the springtime, of course, you want to do your cool season flowers. And in our front containers, Eric likes to do the pansies, especially the pale blue one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab Freya.
Yeah. She's needing our attention.
She's needing attention. So we chose 3 of them, 2 pansies and 1 viola. Still not exactly sure the difference between the two other than flower size, but that's good enough for us. The viola that we chose is Antique Leda. They are a very antique-y looking color. They described it as fresh churned spring butter with a dollop of jammy plum at the center.
Who wouldn't want that?
But they really are beautiful. And I think we're going to do tons of those and then accent them with the celestial blue.
The celestial blue pansy, which is a sky blue pansy representing one of the rarest and most sought after colors in the plant kingdom. I wonder why they described it as representing one of instead of just being.
Being. I don't know.
It's a sky blue pansy.
Yeah, and we'll do tons of those. And then as an accent, just a little accent, we'll do the velvet blue pansy that is luxuriant and lavish crushed velvet.
I like these descriptions.
They're very good. I think
good.
Baker
Better
Creek,
than the one earlier that just said bland flavor.
Bland flavor. Yeah. So whoever talked about bland flavor should talk to the people at Baker Creek because they've got this stuff down.
Yep.
All right. So here's a seed that we still have some of, but we are not going to grow any because we don't have any problem with Verbina at this point.
I love Verbina bonariensis. I know some of you chat with me on Instagram about this all the time, and some of you have already started the seeds. So excited for you because you're going to love it too. It does reseed in your garden, hence why we don't need to start anymore.
Yes, I will say this year I only had started, or last year I only started a few. I think I started maybe 6 or 7, just so because there were a couple spots we hadn't placed them before, but we wanted to add them. And I ended up finding a cluster of seeds over in the back woodland area. And I was able to lift this up with my hands because it was just in the compost, pull them apart, and I probably had 30 plants in my hands.
Yeah.
All viable, stick them all over the place.
And if you didn't want them, you would just toss them.
Toss them. And you don't have to feel bad for it because they're just putting them there themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we have this very, very sophisticated seed packet right here.
This was too many seeds to fit in one of our little envelopes, but this is a mix from our Zenia patch last year.
Yes. So I'm still not exactly sure what's going to happen with this. We had Bennery's Giant Purple and Bennery's Giant Lime interplanted together. Beautiful combination. And then I decided to take seeds from both of them to see what would happen if you open pollinated purple and lime. So this is going to be a bit of an experiment. I want to make sure we have a little patch so we can grow them.
Yeah.
And they're not crucial to the look of the garden in case they come up.
Although I will say that those zinnias were so healthy.
Yeah.
They didn't get any powdery mildew until very late in the season. And, you know, obviously you got to stay up on the deadheading and stuff, but they were great zinnias.
They were really good.
Very healthy, happy zinnias.
Okay. We have 4 herbs. We're moving into herbs now.
Oh, herbs.
Herbs. We have 3 from Renee's garden, which I think you can buy them online, but I've seen these a lot in local garden centers. So that's one of the reasons I go to that website. And we've gotten nice stuff from there. And also a botanical interest is in here as well.
Yes.
So we have heirloom dill called Leafy Diana.
Ooh.
Are we growing that?
Yes, I think we should grow dill for the butterflies.
We should.
And for eating.
And for eating. Yes, definitely. What do we put dill on? Have you ever
Seafood.
used? Yeah, but
Potato salad.
Potato salad. Okay, there we go. Also, heirloom
Pickles.
Italian oregano.
All right.
Should we grow oregano?
Oregano, sure.
Let's grow some of that. You know, why don't we do these in pots on the terrace?
Yeah, we could do maybe on our little coffee table on the terrace. We can
individual
do
little plants.
herbs in each pot.
You know what we should do is bring those pots down here so I can start them in those containers.
Yeah.
Look at that. So then we have flatleaf parsley.
Okay. That we grow specifically for paella that I make all summer long.
He's so good at it. And also, parsley's scientific name is cool. Petroselinum crispum. Delicious. All right, so we'll have that. And then the last thing is something we already grew, so we know it's successful, and this is their French rosemary from Renee's garden.
Ours didn't bloom, though.
Ours did not bloom. I wonder if that's something it doesn't do for a while. It's still out in the garden, and
I'm sure it's frozen.
But it's technically a zone 7.
Oh, but it is in an elevated bed.
It's in an elevated bed.
Container.
It is like a container, so probably it's dead.
Well, maybe it'll come back.
Zone 8.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
okay. Well, you know what? It was a nice thought, and
it's pretty.
It's very pretty, and we did use that rosemary quite a bit.
All right, so we have our elevated beds in our garden. Last year was our first full growing season with them. We had some successes, some not so successes, and we aren't necessarily homesteaders or farmers or things like that. So we kind of approach it from a like, what do we like to eat and what's fun to grow?
You're right. Does it look cool?
Yeah, and we're not as like thorough as, you know, this gets planted for this many weeks, and this is the cool season, and this is long day, and this is like, we don't have all of that figured out. We just kind of like, what are we going to eat?
Yeah.
Let's order those seeds and then plant them when they're supposed to be planted.
Right. And so with that in mind, pesto besto.
Also an herb.
Oh, it's an herb. Oops.
No. Well, it's still our favorite pest. It's still our favorite basil.
Yeah, it's still the favorite basil.
That's a proven winner, is proven harvest seed.
Yes.
And what makes it a proven winner is it blooms much later in the season.
Yeah, I don't think we saw blooms on ours at all.
Yeah.
And it's good. I just love that you can go out and just cut a chunk off.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have 4 in a row from Baker Creek.
Yeah, Baker Creek heirloom seeds.
So we have beets. These are bull's blood beets.
I love beets.
These were good. Did we do them last year?
We didn't do them last year.
We don't have too many seeds left, but we'll just have a little spot.
Yeah.
That's something that we learned. You don't have to cover half of your raised bed in a seed.
Yeah. Yes. It's grow what you think you're going to eat. And there's only 2 of us. And, you know, if we grow 25 beets, that's a lot of beets.
That's a lot of beets.
Time, so we don't need that many beets. So we do the food things on a much smaller scale.
Yes. And another seed, this one I ordered, is a Bok Choy called Shanghai Green.
Yes, that's a beautiful foliage too.
Which is the reason that we're going to experiment with eating bok choy. If you have suggestions for easy recipes for bok choy next summer.
Or not easy. I'm up for a challenge.
Oh, he's up for a challenge. She'll do it. Let's see. We also have coral carrots.
Yep.
We did these.
Carrot. Those are great.
These were a really good one. Apparently, this particular variety is good for juicing.
And we grew these in our elevated beds. So you might see those and think, wow, that's not a very deep bed, but these still grew in them. Yeah. Just like we grew potatoes in them.
Oh, yeah. I love potatoes.
Yeah.
And then, let's see. Renee's garden. This is a seed that I got last year, and we didn't grow it, but we're going to grow it mostly for the ornamental, but maybe we're going to try Neon Glow Rainbow Chard.
I think maybe we bought this to like grow and put in fall containers.
Yeah, we did that for a little while. I think we should try it. It's apparently delicious.
I'll eat rainbow neon chard. That's what it says, neon chard.
It says simply wow in the garden.
I love being wowed in the garden.
I love being wowed in the garden. Okay, and then another one of the seeds you ordered was the Eden corn.
Oh, this is a brand new variety of corn I'm excited to try. We did grow corn last year in the garden. Super successful.
That was
corn
fun.
is so easy to grow. We had a great time growing it. It was delicious, but this is a new, reliable white variety with superior eating quality. It says it's a mid-season option that yields delicious ears even in challenging conditions. Tenderness and flavor are similar to that of Extra Tender 3473, which it replaces.
Ooh.
Dark green, attractive husks protect tender kernels. A good all-around performer. I mean, sold.
Can we just, I think we need to make a video just reading the name tags on stuff.
I love it though,
so
because
funny.
Honestly, I read that stuff and I'm sold. And I think that's why they do it, obviously.
Yes. And then, all right, let's move into, the next thing is, this is not a vegetable you like. You're not a cucumber fan.
No, I mean, they're fine.
They're fine. I grew these Uzu Long Cucumbers.
There's so many of them. You plant one plant and you get inundated.
You get so many. So I'll probably do this again on the trellis. This was one that we saw Laura on Garden Answer. She was growing these, and I said, well, if she likes them, and I don't know anything about cucumber growing, I'm just going to try these out. So these were good. They do get really long.
Yeah.
And they're good because
name.
they're aptly named. Yeah. So you got long. All right, Eric, you also ordered.
Oh, I was watching Epic Gardening, and they have Botanical Interest has a new variety of a patio eggplant that I was like, that's super cool, a patio eggplant. And then I went to their website and it was sold out, so I couldn't purchase it. But I kept looking, and Johnny's had something very similar. Fairy Tale eggplant seed. It's purple and white mini eggplants. They get about 2 to 4 inches long, 3/4 to 1/4 inch diameter, and they are apparently very abundant on this compact plant. A wonderful flavor with no bitterness and very few seeds. And you can harvest them in clusters. And I thought, why not? Because, of course, as you scroll Instagram or TikTok, you see lots of great recipes, and a lot of them do have eggplant. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. And then, we were talking about making a salad. And when you order things from Baker Creek, if you get enough of them, they always send free stuff. And the free seed that they sent was Mero Lettuce.
I'm going to put some of those blue, bland cornflowers in that salad.
Yes, reputed to be the darkest red lettuce in existence.
I mean,
this is great. It's so much fun. But, okay. The next thing is the most fun.
Yeah, I mean, last year we planted potatoes in our elevated beds. I don't do any hilling, didn't do any of that stuff. Just put them down in, and they were fantastic.
They were so much fun.
And they were really fun to harvest, and we ate them throughout the beginning of the summer, midsummer. And so I ordered more. I ordered the dark red Norland from Johnny's, and then I also ordered Yukon Gold.
You know that those are the 2 varieties we had last year.
Perfect.
The exact same
Although
ones.
the only thing I'm nervous about is I think it said like 5 pounds.
It was 5 pounds
of seed potato.
Which
I'll be sharing them.
Yeah, which you cut up. Oh, we'll have to give some to your parents.
I'll give some to my parents. I'll give some to some friends.
There we go. And then you also ordered Donato radish from Johnny's.
Radishes.
Oh, the first downy mildew resistant radish.
If you grow radishes in your elevated beds, they're like a great snack while you're out working in the garden, because you just yang them up, rinse them, eat them up.
There we go. I like a radish.
So Donato radish seed.
Also for the salad.
Yep. And then the other thing my favorite fruit of the summer is watermelon, and I know it's very difficult to grow. Well, at least that's what I've heard in our area. That's very difficult, and you need a lot of room, which we don't have in our potager area.
I have an idea though.
But
I have an idea because we have the area in front of the little limes. I'm wondering if we should plant it in front of the little limes in that little like gullet area.
Do they get very wet?
That's a good question.
So this is an Ocelot watermelon seed from Johnny's.
A true mini.
It's the smallest seedless watermelon at 3 to 5 pounds. The Ocelot has a striking tiger striped rind, mouth-watering flesh, and firm, dense texture combined for an excellent eating experience. Tastes like summer. And so I was hoping we could just do one.
Yeah.
Like, get one and see if we can get a decent watermelon.
Yeah, it said that you can get 2 to 3 per vine.
Great. My goal is to have one awesome watermelon this summer.
Yeah. And then we only have 2 more things on our whole list.
Oh my gosh.
We actually we're growing quite a bit of stuff. We have the Fire and Away hot and heavy pepper.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Proven Winners, Proven Harvest as well. It's good. It's not too hot, so I can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes in the paella as well. It's delicious. Yes. And it's a really pretty little plant.
Yeah, it's great. We grew it our very first year, the year before last when we had the elevated bed. It was one of the first things we grew because it grew in the second half of the season, and then it grew last season. So I think we'll do it again because it's just a great all-around pepper for us.
And the last thing we didn't do last year, but we did the year before. And let's talk about tomatoes for a second.
People go tomato nuts in the summer, and we have followed that lead and been like, well, we got to grow this one, we got to grow that one. Right. We don't eat that many tomatoes.
We don't eat that many tomatoes. Our tomatoes, they looked terrible.
By the end of the season, last season, we were just letting them die on the vine. We're like, I'm over tomatoes.
It was terrible. I would just cut chunks off when I was weeding just to throw them away.
Yeah.
But the year before, we did the black strawberry tomato from Baker Creek. It looks like a gem. It's so pretty. They do taste absolutely really wonderful. Yeah. This is the one that got you started making those little, not bruschetta.
Caprese salads?
Little capreses when you were sauteing them up. They're delicious.
Oh, yeah, no, it was like a hot bruschetta.
Yeah, absolutely delicious. And they are so beautiful. This one, I found that it was healthier than the ones that we grew last year.
Oh, the plant was healthier.
The plant was much healthier. So we will be having the black strawberry tomato. And you get so many seeds, you can barely feel them in there.
I know. But again, a caveat, like we're not homesteaders. So our food seeds are for fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're still going to take you along on the journey of planting them. And hopefully, we have some success with them. But we're really looking forward to sharing how we start these seeds with you here in our basement greenhouse.
Yep, on our lovely little seed trays back here. It's nice and organized in here this year. I feel good about it.
Yeah, and taking you through the journey of the whole season of how they, grow in our greenhouse, how we harden them off, and then once we put them in the ground.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us today to go through our seeds for 2024. Again, I'm Eric.
And I'm Christopher.
And we're Grow For Me Gardening.
Thanks for growing with us.